is up to you. I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. 'Cause I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you. I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you. Have no saviors, but what remains is something that's greater. We can love without limits. We can live in brand new ways. We can learn. We are capable of bringing brighter days. We can grow in unspeakable and extraordinary ways. 'Cause we're greater. 'Cause we're greater. 'Cause we're greater. 'Cause we're greater. Now the work may be hard and the times may be rough, but what we have found is that we are able. So when you get down, get up off your knees, get back into this fight. 'Cause with you we're greater. All we have after the fuck face is each other. That is greater. All we have after the fuck face is each other. That is greater. We're greater than. 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 We're greater where we've been. We're greater than. 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 We're greater where we've been.
Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing out there? Listen, welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for connection, community, and conversation. So whether you're watching us live, thank you, or you're watching on the global campus or having a local watch party, or you're going to catch the replay, we appreciate you too. Okay. And it wouldn't be right if we didn't mention our mission, and that is to simply help you connect better, build better, and live better. And our values are also clear. We are forward thinking, we are people centric, and we are life affirming. Okay, affirm yourself sometimes. That's what you got to do. Our why is the heartbeat of it all, and that is that people matter. Everything we do revolves around that concept that people matter. And we don't all have it together, right? We don't have to be perfect here. We are just intentional about connection and shared responsibility and honest thinking, okay? And I love that about us. Now, if this is your first time with us, listen, we have a first time gift for you. I need you to to follow that link, okay, on the screen or click it from the chat, okay? And that is our small token of hospitality. And it's just giving you a guide of how to navigate connection a little bit better. So we would love for you to go ahead and get that. And if you are a regular, you are a returner, okay, and this is home for you, of course, we appreciate you as well. You keep us going, you keep us moving, you keep us motivated. And I'm so excited for this new series because our March series, we're going to be talking about the greater gospel. Okay. You remember the good news? We talk about the greater gospel, okay? For a long time, many of us have been given a gospel that's been kind of too small, right? And now we're moving beyond those old frameworks and we're discovering something more powerful. And so throughout this series, we're going to be exploring how freedom from religious superstition actually gives us a greater gospel, one that is radical, but also inclusive and deeply empowering and centered on human flourishing here and now. So we're moving from a message of escape to a message of evolution. How about that? And by the end of the series, the goal is for us to see when you lose the constructs, you don't lose the truth. You finally find freedom in it. Okay. And by the way, if you didn't know, March is Women's History Month and also National Reading Month. I have 4 book recommendations for you for my, these are by U.S. women authors, but of course, those in other countries, please drop your women authors in the chat that you love and your recommendations as well. Listen, I have to mention Maya Angelou, okay? She has 7 autobiographies, but this one is one of my favorites. It's her second one, Gathered Together in My Name. I love this. This is continuing after I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. If you want to dive a little bit more into her mindset, she is super funny. In her earlier years, this is a good one to follow and read. And none other, this next one, The Three Mothers. And this is how the mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin shaped a nation. This is so good. This dives more into the mother's life and their journey and how they navigated as they were having children and how they raised them and what happened during that. And this is by Anna Tubb. So go check that out. If you're into historical fiction and you haven't checked out The Personal Librarian, this actually came out last year. This is 2 women. They're co-authors of this book, and they actually write together a lot. And that's Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Moray. And this book follows Belle DaCosta and her family. And her name is actually Bella, and how she got the job with JP Morgan Chase, and it's a very interesting journey here and what their family goes through and what she decides to do. And if you don't know about Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid, oh my goodness, she writes some amazing stories. She came out with a book in 2025 called Atmosphere. And this book actually follows women scientists, the first women scientists who went out to be a part of the NASA space shuttle program in the 1980s. And so, a very great story. And if you don't already, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and follow me on my YouTube channel at Darante LaMar. I had to plug it in, okay? Give me a time to plug it in. But over there, I do bookish content, motivational videos, personal development, and a little vlogs here and there. So if you like that type of content, go hang out with me over there. All right. But before we get into today's conversation, let's go ahead and check out BridgeCity News.
What's up, BridgeCity? Happy Sunday, or whatever day it is on your side of the world. My name is Elaine, and I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot going on here. We are growing and shifting and unfolding, and I want to make sure that you're in the loop. At BridgeCity Global, Women's History Month is a time to honor the brilliance, resilience, and leadership of women whose impact shapes families, workplaces, movements, and communities across the world every single day. From organizing and caregiving to leading change, building businesses, and creating opportunity, women are often a driving force behind strong, thriving communities. This month, we celebrate the power of women and recommit to building communities that reflect their strength, wisdom, and lasting influence. We're under construction. We've officially launched the lobby of our global campus. It's a one-stop shop to move through the campus experience and see how we're growing and expanding as a community. There you will find our Welcome Center, Event Center, Business Center, and more. Drop by today and check out how our global campus is expanding to accommodate our growth. Want to host a watch party? Have you ever been in the middle of a Sunday session and thought, I wish this was available in my city in person? Well, you could be the person who becomes that spark. Hosting a weekly watch party is the first step to bringing the BridgeCity experience to your city. A watch party is a small, in-person gathering, usually 3 or more people, where friends meet at someone's home or venue to watch the community's weekly online session together, creating a shared experience for community, conversation, and growth. It's about building relationships and community around our mission and message, with hosts providing a welcoming space, food, and discussion supported by our community resources. Visit the link to discover everything you need to start, host, and lead a watch party. Every first Sunday of the month is BridgeCity Movie Night, and tonight we are watching the documentary John Lewis, Good Trouble. This one was recommended by one of our production team members, Mr. Bob, the Singing Weatherman Swanson. There's still time to RSVP, so get in there now, you hear me? And in April, we'll be watching Sinners, a supernatural horror thriller directed by Ryan Coogler, who also directed Marvel's Black Panther movies. Wakanda Forever, yes, hunty! Sinners features Michael B. Jordan in a dual role as 1930s Mississippi twins, Smoke and Stack, who have returned to their hometown to start a life anew. The brothers open a juke joint only to confront a terrifying evil that forces them to defend their community over a single brutal night. Your girl can't handle all that, so Elaine gonna be sitting this one out, but y'all make sure y'all show up, okay? Connect with like-minded people on a deeper level by joining one of our clubs. This month, we're highlighting the Wellness Club. The Wellness Club is dedicated to fostering self-awareness and emotional well-being through mindful practices. Members will explore tools and practices like breathing exercises, meditation, journaling, and stretching, all aimed at promoting emotional regulation and inner growth. Expect regular posts featuring wellness activities and self-care practices. Join, share, and learn which tools resonate best for you to cultivate a more balanced and resilient mindset. So make sure y'all join us in the Wellness Club. To all of our new members, welcome. We know that joining a new community, especially online, can be overwhelming. That's why we've been intentionally working on building a campus experience that helps orient you and makes it easy to navigate all that BridgeCity is and offers. If you haven't already, visit the link today and make the most of your member experience, because at BridgeCity, membership matters. Since the start of the year, more than 40 people have made the decision to connect with BridgeCity as their community of choice, and we couldn't be more excited. Every new connection is a step closer to a better world. Make sure to explore the campus, complete the new member journey, and introduce yourself so that you can start making an impact. Are you ready to get involved? Visit our Teams page to explore the growing number of opportunities to do the work of community. As we're moving from conceptual to operational, we need volunteers to be the bridge so that people can see the vision. Volunteering isn't just about helping the community look good. It's how we empower the community to actually do good. Every volunteer expands our capacity to support our growing body of members and mobilize around our mission in real time. And it's also the easiest way to build new relationships that make life meaningful. Becoming a volunteer gives you more people to call, more people to laugh with, and more people to face life with. Visit the link on the screen to explore the growing number of opportunities to get involved. And if you don't see anything that piques your interest, reach out to the team. At BridgeCity, we understand that a greater gospel requires a greater commitment to one another. Every second Tuesday of the month is Giving Tuesday. Now, you know how we do things over here. We don't ask for tithes, we don't collect dues, and we certainly don't use guilt as a motivator. However, this community is sustained by the regular, intentional contributions of our members. Your radical generosity is what empowers us to show up every Sunday. It's what allows us to provide an expansive global campus experience and to launch the local events that make new, real-world communities possible. Giving Tuesday is our monthly reminder that this vision doesn't build itself. It's built by people. We can't offer you a mansion in the afterlife in exchange for your gift. But what we can offer is continued community, expanding resources, and the collective power to change the world in real time. If you understand our mission is worth building and our vision is worth supporting, mark the second Tuesday of this month on your calendar. Let's choose association over isolation, and let's fund the freedom we're finding together. Generosity is making this possible, and thank you for building with us. That's everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for being the bridge. Let's get into today's conversation. Take it away, Darante.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Y'all, listen, y'all don't understand. Like, one of my favorite parts of Sunday mornings is really being able to watch how many people in our community can get involved. And major shout out to Zernial, who really made this possible. We have people who are a part of our community who are not quite ready to go public with who they are. And Zernial has crafted a genius way for those people to still be involved, to still get involved and be a part of what we're doing. So that's absolutely amazing. If you are a first-time guest, we do have a gift that we want to give to you. My wife made mention of it in our first video this morning, but it's a very simple gift that we want to put in your hands to help you navigate connection. Also, let us know where you're watching from. Our community is global, and it is such a beautiful form of encouragement when other people can see cities in the chat, countries in the chat, and sometimes it's a look close to them. So while you're watching today, whether you're watching now or later, please let us know where you are watching from. Now, I know it's been said, but I'm going to say it again. Happy Women's History Month and National Month of Reading. We have some wonderful, wonderful women who are a part of the work that we do. And so you're going to be seeing them featured all month long. And again, major shout out to our production team for just making that happen. And major shout out to Elaine, wink, wink. Major shout out to Elaine for suggesting it. You know, the West Coast of Canada is in the building. Arkansas is in the building. We had our first house party this week, and if you missed it, don't worry. The replay is up for you. And I do suggest that you go check out the replay because we had one hell of a good time, you know. So please check that out. We also had a club organizer meeting this week. I don't even know if we had that recorded, but that was really good. Just felt good to be in the room with all of our club organizers who are making major things happen for our community just by being available for each other. This Wednesday night, and I'll get out of announcement mode in a moment, I promise. But this Wednesday night, we're going to be having a core team Q&A. Arizona's in the building. We're going to be having a core team Q&A. So if you wanted to ask me anything, if you wanted to ask our head of community, our head of culture, our head of production, who's going to be our director of students and families, we're all going to be there Wednesday night on the global campus. This will be on the global campus. Salisbury, North Carolina is in the building. That's not too far from where I am. We got to get something kicked off in North Carolina now. But yes, so please, if you have any questions for the team, any questions about the community, make sure to be on the global campus on Wednesday night. I don't know the time off the top of my head, and I didn't put it in my notes, so forgive me. And last but not least, before we jump into today's conversation, I've got to tell you where we're growing at. Like, this is absolutely amazing. Listen, y'all, not only do we have a group in the LA area now, Bridge City, Los Angeles, which started as Bridge City, SoCal, but we have a group in the LA area now. We now have a campus club at MSU, Mississippi State University. That's Bridge City MSU. Stone Mountain, Georgia is in the building. Now, that's right up the road. You're going to like where I'm going with this, Stone Mountain. We have a group in Southern Florida now getting together. Actually, they're going to be having their first kind of roundtable meet and greet this Sunday. Today, that's today. So that's Bridge City, Florida, where you at, Bridge City, Miami. And then there's also Bridge City, Atlanta on the way. Can I get a what? Can I get a what? Bridge City, Atlanta on the way. And then even amazingly, we've pulled together a Bridge City, Alabama chat on our global campus, because we have so many people who are in the Alabama area. So great things are happening, and y'all don't let me be the only one excited about it. You hear me? Come on now. All right, so let's jump into today's conversation. We're starting a new series today, y'all, and this one is called The Greater Gospel. And I got to be honest with you, I'm incredibly excited about this. I am incredibly excited about this series. As a matter of fact, y'all have probably heard me talking about it prior to today. But people ask me why I still get up on Sundays if I don't believe in a deity. Why do you still effectively preach? Why are you still a preacher? If you don't believe in a God, why are you showing up every Sunday afternoon, pouring your heart out with a message to people? For me, and listen to me very clearly, we have spent way too much time waiting for a miracle and not enough time being the medicine. Yes, I'm an atheist, and I personally do not believe in any gods or any supernatural phenomenon, but I'm still a preacher for humanity. I do not have any reason to believe in a God, but I have all the reason in the world to believe in myself and to believe in you. So I now live in a place where I don't love you because a book told me to. I love you because you're here and you're in this cosmic carpool with me. Does that make sense? If you're waiting for a sign, look in the mirror. If you want to know why, look in the mirror. If you want to know what would drive a former pastor to keep on preaching, even though he doesn't have a God to believe in yet, look in the mirror. You might be the reason. I'm preaching better than y'all are responding. Jalapeno, habanera, hell yeah. From my perspective, the greater gospel is the next stage of human development. It's community without control, and it's family without fighting. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be exploring the greater gospel as human responsibility as opposed to divine mandate. We're going to be tackling ideas such as why we should stop looking for the one and expand our concerns for the many. We're going to be tackling ideas such as how religion taught us that love was a transaction through substitutionary grace. And we're going to be dealing with how humanism reveals that love can be a realization of collective actualization. I hope that is good, man. I hope that is good. So watch this. In the religious gospel, the origin of love was divinely mandated. Okay. In the greater gospel, the origin of love is biologically and socially essential. Okay. The problem in the religious gospel is that we were sinners and we were separated from a God. But the problem in the greater gospel is that we are disconnected and not realizing our human potential. The Sunday goal of the religious gospel was the worship of divinity. But the Sunday goal of the greater gospel is the celebration and the empowerment of humanity. I'm talking about us, y'all. And I do mean all of us. In the religious gospel, the accountability, the way we dealt with accountability was with the seat of judgment. But in the greater gospel, we deal with accountability through human conscience and collective well-being. The big point is that I didn't lose my mission when I lost my faith. I opted in for a bigger one. I got to say that one more time. The big point is I did not lose my mission when I lost my faith. I did not lose the thing that drives me when I walked away from religion. As a matter of fact, I walked away so I could do a better job. Y'all don't want to talk to me. I walked away because that gospel was not enough. I needed a greater gospel. So listen, if you're here, we love you because you're here, not because you share our ideologies, not because you share our values, not because you share the way that we look at the world. We love you because you're here. We're in this cosmic carpool together. All right. And I couldn't throw you off if I wanted to, not even if I tried. All right, let's go. So this conversation, this series comes from a conversation I had with Joe Pittinger. And y'all should remember I had Joe on for Sunday, and he shared, man, I think he was one of the first people that I brought on, and I just let him kind of let him just kind of do his own thing, and it was beautiful. Man, it's good to see you, OTNO. Man, I hope I see you on the campus. I know you're on the campus. I want to see you. I want to see you. It's nice to see Kenya in the building. We got to get something jumped off in Kenya. All right, so I was having this conversation with Joe, and Joe just has just such an incredible heart, an incredible story, and is doing an incredible work. But Joe, much like Kyle Butler, has captured my heart and mind in such a fascinating way because they are both non-believers and yet still absolutely vocal in finding ways to uplift people. In that way, much like myself, they're still preachers. You know, Joe, who I featured on the Sunday session, even leads a local values-based community in Canada. Now, in full transparency, navigating this space has been interesting for me. And this is why people like Joe and Kyle kind of stick out for me. It's because we can often get so caught up in exposing the harm that we don't graduate into the greater responsibility of decreasing the harm and increasing well-being. Exposure is a wonderfully effective doorway, but quickly becomes corrosive as a pathway. Okay. What drives everything I do, whether it's BridgeCity, whether it's Window Shop, Mastermind, Omniverse, and everything else that I got on my plate because I'm here and I'm ready to eat, everything I do is driven by a desire to find ways to decrease harm and increase well-being for individuals and communities globally. And that's why I like Joe. We were in a conversation at a conference once, and I was just amazed at finding someone else who was genuinely passionate about community. Now, I came across a lot of people who are passionate about what they are against, but very few people who are actively engaged in what they are for. In an ocean of conversations about what's wrong with Christianity and the Bible, Joe represented a rare gem of what we can be doing to help people, period. Okay. That's where I live. The shift from just exposing it to doing something about it and building something better in order to increase well-being. So I asked him, why do you still do this? Why do you still preach? You know, though it's through the lens of humanism, why do you do it? Why not just focus on biblical criticism like some, or focus on epistemology, or just focus on science literacy? Why get up every Sunday and partner with others to do this? I mean, I know why I do it, but people look at me like I'm crazy, and I've been planning on this for about 10 years. But I asked him, why do you do this? And his answer was, and y'all follow me right here real quick, because this did something to you, boy. His answer was, we have the bigger gospel. And I thought about that. I said, that's good. Okay. We have the bigger gospel. Similar to me, Joe's trigger to walk away wasn't epistemological dissonance. Okay. Like so many of our contemporaries, we had already grown comfortable with navigating the nuances of theological inconsistencies. Knowing that the gospel was broken was not a deal breaker for us because many of us saw ourselves as the fixers of the faith. I'm going to say that one more time because I want to make sure that hits you where it's supposed to hit you at. Okay. Knowing that the gospel was broken was not a deal breaker for us. There were plenty of pastors who could see the flaws with the gospel. We could see that the gospel was broken, but for many of us, we saw ourselves as the fixers of the faith. So for Joe and I, our trigger wasn't that the gospel was broken. We had already learned how to wrestle with that. We had already learned how to bypass that. We had already learned how to live with that, how to wrestle with that nuance. The problem wasn't that the gospel was broken. That wasn't the trigger. The trigger wasn't that the gospel was broken. The trigger was that the gospel was limited. And I think that's the difference between people who deconvert because they're mad and people who deconvert because they're really trying to make a difference. Because people who deconvert because they're trying to make a difference, they're not looking for a reason to stop. They're looking for a way to do it better. They're not looking for a reason to stop. They're looking for a better vehicle, a better avenue, a better way to make a difference in the people's lives. So for us, it wasn't just that the gospel was broken. It was that it was limited. It was that gospel was too small. See, God for us, while we were going through our phases, God for us became so big to us that religion became too small for us. And eventually the God of that religion became unnecessary. So what we realized is that we didn't need a God to love people, and we didn't need a God to lift humanity. The God may be gone, but the love is still here. The God may be gone, but the desire to lift up people is still here. And I love to lift. Man, I love me a lifter. I love me a lifter. As a matter of fact, we found that the God idea was in our way. If the former gospel says love your neighbor, the greater gospel challenges you to find a way to love everybody. If the former gospel says I love you because there is a God, the greater gospel says I love you because there is a you. The good news was that somebody died, rose again, fought your battles, and through their blood made you worthy of love. But that's why I can't keep quiet, because the greater news, come on now, the greater news is that nobody has to die for you to be worthy. That's why I show up every Sunday. That's why I keep producing content and music. And this is a great place to drop today's title. I can't stop because I've got great news. Well, why am I going to have all of this great news and not be sharing it? I think when you have some great news, you got to share it. And the great news is that nobody has to die for you to be loved. The great news is that you're capable of fighting your own battles. The great news is that you're worthy because we share this life, not because we're headed to the same afterlife. The great news is that I don't need a God to be loving, and you don't need a God to be loved. We are humans sharing this experience together, jalapeno, existing in this cosmic carpool, and it is in our best interest to love each other beyond the limitations of labels and language. Can I get a hell yeah? The great news is that I'm no longer looking for a reason to disqualify others from humanity. In many religions, they love you because you're going to heaven. At BridgeCity, we love you because you're here. This is good. Boy, if we had an organ in here right now, we'd be going stupid. If you're here, you're loved, period. That's the greater gospel. The greater gospel is the next stage of human development. It's where we go from here. It contrasts the good news of substitutionary grace with the greater news of collective actualization. In today's conversation and throughout the entirety of this series, I'm going to be championing a new orientation for people who consider themselves forward-thinking, people-centric, and life-affirming. Regardless of your identity, atheist, agnostic, humanist, undecided, somewhere in the middle, undetermined. The challenge of this series is for us to shift the conversation from the reasons that many are leaving to the reasons that we should still be lifting. And the number one reason that we should still be lifting the world we live in is because we've got great news. We've got a greater gospel that gives us permission to love beyond boundaries, to love beyond limits. Y'all don't understand how powerful that is. The great news is that we can do community without control. We can do family without fighting. We can do partnership without pretending. I don't know about you, but that's great news to me. No. Please understand. Please help me understand. Please explain to me, how did you get free and all you got out of the deal is bad news? Oh, y'all ain't ready. Come here. Where you at? Come here. No. How did you get free and all you got out of your freedom was bad news? No, if it was a limited gospel that led to our fracturing and brokenness, then it is a greater gospel that will lift us into higher heights and drive us into deeper depths. So let's drop in. Let's drop in with our first point of today's conversation. Let's talk about the problems with the former gospel, because I came to make it plain this weekend. I came to make it plain this weekend. Let's talk about the problems with the former gospel. And as a former Pentecostal preacher, I loved the gospel. I loved to preach the gospel. And when I thought about the gospel, there's a scripture that I thought about that's in the book of Isaiah, and then it's repeated in the book of Luke. Some of y'all, if y'all come from Pentecostal backgrounds, you may remember this, but it was that the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. That's what the first gospel was. That watch this. I'm doing this because I'm anointed. I told you I'd be trying to chill on the cussing on Sundays, but I think I just slipped up on something. Nope. In the old paradigm, I'm helping people because I'm anointed, right? Because someone anointed me to do it. No. The new paradigm is I'm doing this because I'm needed. Are you ready for this? Are y'all ready? Are y'all here with me? No, baby, forget anointed. You're needed. I don't care about that stuff. Nobody cares about an anointing. You don't do it because you're anointed. You do it because it's necessary. You don't do it because you're anointed. We do it because it's needed. No, I don't need a God to be on me. I don't need for somebody to come tell me to do something. I do it because I can look around and see that people are in need, and nobody has to give me a title for me to help somebody. That's why even though I'm still preaching, you see, nobody has to call me pastor. Nobody has to call me bishop. Nobody has to call me apostle, because the real is it don't take all of that. All it takes is come on, y'all don't want to talk to me. All it takes is that it is needed and I am here. All right. Now that's the old one. That's the old paradigm. The old paradigm is you had to be anointed. The new paradigm is I'm reminding us that we're all needed. Every single one of you, you're here. You're needed. There was an R&B/gospel singer a few years ago that wrote a song, and the first lines of the song is, "There are no extra people. There are no extra people in mansions or ghettos. If you're here, you're needed. If you're here, welcome to the life shift. We need you here. We're going to have to find a way to deal with you, but we need you here because there are no extra people." And in a world that keeps driving itself into war, the greater gospel is probably the greatest message we need right now. Now that's the gospel from the Pentecostal version. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he's anointed me to do something. In other words, I wouldn't be doing nothing unless God told me to do something. And not only unless God told me to do something, but then also God has to specifically choose me and title me. That's the old paradigm. But the new paradigm is, no, I can look around with my eyes and see that, no, if something is needed, then I'm here to do something about it. If something is needed and I'm able, then I'm here to do something about it. But then there's the more overlooked gospel message. Now, the one that we're most familiar with is that he died, he hung his head, and 3 days later he rose up. And I don't know what that does for you, but for years that was supposed to be good news, was that one man got up. And to me, that one man getting up is never really good news unless we're all getting up. This is my black nationalism coming out of me, but ain't none of us free until all of us are free. So it doesn't matter to me if it's happening to one, if it ain't happening for everybody. I want to, come on now, I'm preaching better than y'all responding. Hell yeah. No, okay. But then there's this other gospel message that's often overlooked, at least as far as New Testament Christianity goes. And it's the one that Peter preached. Peter's the first person in the Bible to actually preach a gospel message that people respond to and are saved. And so I'm going to take you there a little bit, and we're not going to spend time in the Bible because this ain't church. So we're not going to do that. I'm just giving this to contrast to where we used to be, to where we're going as an evolutionary species. So Peter said, the book said, with many other words, he warned them and he pleaded with them. And this is literally what Peter says, y'all, or whoever wrote it. This is what they said. Peter said, he said, save yourself from this corrupt generation. And so now number one, that's just mind-blowing to me, because you often don't hear the gospel preached as save yourself. Those are probably the most healthiest words in the whole book, is save yourself. But the problem is save yourself from this corrupt generation. And I think the reason I'm talking about this, is because I think some of this residue spills over and even remains even after you've left religious superstition, because then it becomes, I got to save myself from this corrupt generation. Watch this. The former gospel is based in a warning, not warmth. Have you ever realized that? Have you ever thought about that? That the former gospel does not come from a place of love. It comes from a place of warning. It does not come from a place of warmth. It comes from a place of warning. Salvation from that old paradigm is about running from something. It's about running from trouble. It's about escapism. Peter's message in Acts implies that the world is a sinking ship and the gospel is merely a life raft. When a message is based on a warning, the primary motivator is avoidance. You move toward goodness only to escape badness. And see, you can see that correlation between the Isaiah 61 good news, where the goal isn't to move toward goodness because goodness is a solution. The goal isn't to move towards goodness because goodness is necessary. The goal is only to move toward goodness because if you don't, God is going to do something to you. And let me tell you something a little bit from just a little bit of understanding of behavioral science. That's not how you motivate people to change. Now, just let me give you a little parenting background right here. This is one of the reasons why many of us struggle so hard in parenting, because we still live on a punishment paradigm and not a discipline paradigm. Let me help you out real quick. I'm just flowing right now, jalapeno habanero, hell yeah, but let me help you out real quick. We've been operating on a punishment paradigm and not a discipline paradigm. Punishment is about me punishment is about you fixing me so I'm okay with you. Discipline is about me changing my behavior so I'm okay with me. Y'all missed that right there. No, punishment is about you. Discipline is about me. Punishment is something you do to me. Discipline is something I learned for myself. So one of the ways we shifted very early on with our kids is we shifted from punishment to discipline. Instead of we're punishing you for behaving this way, we're going to start teaching you discipline to teach you how to walk your behavior out and align your behavior with what you want in life. So when you can see that, no, this behavior is not going to get me what I want, then you realize it is not in your best interest and you are more motivated to get what you want. Okay. I hope that was helpful. So when a message is based on warning, punishment, the primary motivator is avoidance. I want to avoid this. You move toward goodness, come on now, only to escape badness. This creates a community bound by anxiety. You're constantly looking for what is untoward or corrupt, okay, to ensure that you remain separate from it. When the gospel is a warning, the gospel is the instigation of separation. When the gospel is a warning, the good news is an instigation of discrimination. This is why many religious spaces become passionate about what they are against instead of actively engaged in what they are for. The greater gospel flips the script. Instead of being a rescue mission from a burning building, it's an invitation to a shared table. We're not running, we're working. Y'all get, we've got to shift from running together to working together, okay? Warmth implies inherent safety, belonging, and presence. It doesn't require a corrupt generation as a backdrop to look good. Watch this. So I don't need anybody to be the villain for me to want to be the hero. Are y'all ready for this? No. I don't need anybody to be the bad guy for me to be the good guy. No, warmth implies inherent safety, belonging, and presence. It does not require a corrupt generation as a backdrop to look good. At BridgeCity, we love people because they are here, not because they're headed to a specific destination. This is the shift from conditional rescue to unconditional affirmation. Imagine what type of superhero Spider-Man, Superman, Iron Man, any of the maiden mans would be if the rescue was conditional. I'll rescue you if you lift your hands. I'll rescue you if you say the right words. I know the building is on fire, but I cannot get you out until every knee bows and every tongue confess. We would easily recognize that we're not watching the makings of a hero. We are watching the evolution of a villain. Oh, yeah. So we're moving from conditional rescue to unconditional affirmation. A gospel of warning is inherently transactional. If you do X, repent. If you baptize, you pray long enough, give enough money. You know what I'm saying? Then you will avoid judgment. One thing I love about BridgeCity is that we don't really know who gives what. And so nobody gets treated a certain way. You don't say, no, if you give a certain money, you're a real member. You're a member at any level. Come on, y'all ain't ready. A gospel of warmth, which is what I believe the greater gospel is inherently transformational. Because we watch this, because we share existence, we decrease harm and increase well-being. Because we all got to live here. Because we all gotta live here. No. Because we share this space, we have a reasonable responsibility. We have a reasonable obligation because we share this space. We're in the same high occupancy vehicle. We are in the same cosmic carpool lane together, and we share this space together. And because of that, we have a rational obligation to decrease harm and increase well-being. Oh my goodness. Exposure is just another form of warning. It tells people what is wrong, what to flee, and who the villains are. But if you stay in the space of exposure, you're still operating in the old gospel's energy. You've just changed the name of the corrupt generation. I'm gonna say it again because I want this to hit home. As I said earlier, exposure is a wonderfully effective doorway, but it becomes highly corrosive as a pathway. See, exposure, yes, it tells people what's wrong. It tells people what to flee. It tells people who the villain is. But if you stay there, you're still operating in the old us versus them paradigm. You've just changed the name of the corrupt generation. It is now no longer saints and sinners. It's conservatives and liberals. Warmth is what allows you to graduate into the responsibility of increasing well-being. You stop shouting at the darkness and start becoming the one responsible for lighting the fire. If you left the church, but you're still angry, judgmental, and focused on who is wrong, have you actually changed gospels? If you left the church and you're still vindictive, have you actually elevated your gospel yet? If you left the church and your number one focus, and forgive me for this, but if your number one focus is still the plank in other folks' eye, have you elevated your gospels? Or are you just preaching now a different kind of warning? The greater gospel is the evidence of your liberation because it replaced the chills of the warning with the warmth of the work. So let's talk about this a little bit. I want to break this down. The word that's used for untoward generation is scolio in the Greek, for where we get the word scoliosis. It implies that something has been bent out of its natural, healthy alignment. And that's how so many of us look at life. And to me, that's religious residue. That's superstitious religious residue. No, there's just something not natural about them. No, we're not operating in the natural order of things. No, some way we were, thank you for that. At some point we were living up high, and now we've fallen down low. We've bent ourselves out of alignment with nature and out of alignment with God. So the way Peter kind of looks at this is, if the world is crooked, then any contact with it will warp you. If the world is crooked, then any contact with it will warp you. And I'm starting to see some of that creep over even into secular spaces where you're trying not to be defiled. You don't want your purity to be defiled by being associated with the wrong people. Therefore, the only way to stay straight It's to sever ties. It's a theology of amputation, cutting yourself off from the world to save your soul. Now, what this creates is a lifeboat mentality. You aren't looking to fix the ocean. Nope. You're just trying not to drown with the rest of the passengers. It turns spiritual safety into a form of isolationism. Whew, this is heavy. This is heavy. Oh my goodness. So we go from saving from to saving for. All right. This is motivated by the fear of contamination, saving from. It asks, how do I keep the world's crookedness off of me? How do I keep the world's disgustingness off of me? How do I get this off of me? The goal then becomes evacuation. How do I get out of here? That's saving from. That is the paradigm of the former gospel, what I'll call the lesser gospel. The lesser gospel is a saving from. How do I keep them off of me? How do I keep them out of my space? Saving from them, right? Saving from punishment, saving from judgment, shifting from the lesser gospel to the greater gospel is moving to saving for, where we are more active and we are more proactive. This is motivated by the realization of potential. It asks, how do I preserve my energy? How do I preserve my empathy and my health so that I can be a resource for the world? The goal is contribution. I want you to think about that. I want you to sit in both of those seats. Which one are you doing? Are you saving yourself from, or are you preserving yourself for? Yeah, think about that. Are you saving from? Are you saving from? Are you saving for? See, everything that I do right now is because I'm saving myself for. When I lost 400 pounds, when I dropped from 580 to 180, when I did so, it was to save myself for the world that I live in. It was to save myself for the children that I brought into this world. So am I trying to save myself from society, or am I trying to make sure that I'm here so that I can actually help society? Am I trying to make sure that I'm healthy so I can actually think clearly? Am I just trying to stay away? Are we all just playing keep away? Or is there any of us in there? Are there any of us out here who are doing our best to get in the best shape that we can so that we can get in the game? Yeah. I'm not just trying to stop myself from drowning, because if I'm drowning and yet I'm still stuck in the ocean by myself, it's just a matter of time before I'm gone. So the goal is not just to stop myself from drowning, nor is it to determine who should be drowning. The goal is to try to save as many people as we can so that we not because we're trying to get to an afterlife, but because we have a world to preserve. We have a life to pass down. We have memories to share. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is good. This is good. The goal becomes contribution. You aren't saving yourself because the world is disgusting. You're saving yourself because you are essential. You are preserving the instrument so that you can play the music. One of my favorite shows, and I got a lot of favorite shows because I love television. I love storytelling. But one of my favorite shows is called Heroes. And there's a character in Heroes whose name is Hero. It's not spelled that way, but Hero is in Heroes. All right. But his name is Hiro Nakamura. I hope I'm saying it right. But in Heroes, and he has a very, very special line that's like key to the that is key to the franchise. I'm not messing with you, Dark Light. That is key to the franchise, and that is save the cheerleader, save the world. He shows up. I think it's like it got to be season 2 where he shows up because he's a time traveler, and so he done traveled in the time in the future, and he has come back to the past. It's like a Back to the Future moment, and then he back, and then he show up to himself, and he look at himself, and he says, "Save that cheerleader, save the world." And I love it because at first you don't know what the hell he's talking about because you ain't met the cheerleader yet. You don't know what's going on, but it's very important to the plot line. Now here it is. And I know y'all wonder, like, okay, now why you took that rabbit trail? Why you took that rabbit trail? Is this your neurospicy? No, it is not my neurospicy. This is in my notes. Okay. In that story, the individual wasn't saved so that they can hide. Save the cheerleader and you save the world. You don't save the cheerleader so that the cheerleader can go and hide. You don't save the cheerleader so that the cheerleader can live in peace. You actually save the cheerleader so that the cheerleader can help you save the world. So they don't go hide in a bunker. They were saved because their specific survival was the linchpin for the survival of the collective. And what if we looked at all humanity that way? Is that I need you to survive. Oh, damn. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of humanity. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of humanity. Now, you had to go to Black church to know that song, but everybody who went to Black church, you probably knew that song immediately. What happens if we can look at each other and say, you know, even as much as I don't like you right now, even as much as I don't like where you are right now and how you think right now, I need you to survive. Ooh, that's what we should have named this. What is the greater? What is the greater gospel? The greater gospel is I need you to survive. I need you to survive. Okay. Watch this. The individual realization that the realization is that individual realization is global transformation. When you save your mind from the untoward, the crooked thinking of shame, control, and fear, you don't just feel better, you become a node of health in a sick network. Okay. Y'all ready? You ready for this? Okay. So if the body is sick, that sick is coming from the cells. You know, there's some nuance here. So if we're looking at society and we say society is sick, then the way we heal society is by healing the individual members of society. Okay, that's why connecting better becomes a priority. All right. Individual realization becomes global transformation. As we each get better, society gets better. As we each get more committed to each other and seeing each other as human and seeing each other as people sharing the same existence with us, the better we get at that, the healthier the whole system becomes. So it's not save the cheerleader, save the world. It's save yourself. You are the cheerleader. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. And honestly, can I talk to you, cheerleader, real quick? Hey, cheerleader, let me talk to you real quick. You are the cheerleader, and we need you to survive. And we need you to survive because we need somebody to cheer us on. We've had literally generations upon generations of people telling us how bad we are, how toxic we are, how hateful we are, how corrupted we are, and that it all comes from this place of sin. But hey, cheerleader, we need you to remind us of how awesome we are, to remind us of how many wins we've had, to remind us that yes, we've had some bad days, but damn it, we've had some good days too. Save the cheerleader, save the world. I wish I had an organist in here right now. No, I wish I had somebody to talk to. Save the cheerleader, save the world. We need the cheerleaders. Where are the cheerleaders? We need the cheerleaders. I'm here cheerleading. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Watch this. Love your neighbor. Love the world. Damn, this is good. All right. So the crooked of the lesser gospel was immorality, rejecting God and sinful behavior. The crooked of the greater gospel is systems of harm, the untoward convenience of ignoring our neighbor, the perverse logic that says some people are worth more than others. Peter said, get out while you can. The greater gospel says, get healthy so you can get back in the game, because we need you to survive. All right, here's my second point of today. I feel like I'm preaching 3 different sermons. This is so good. All right, this one, the promises of a greater gospel. We've talked about the problems of the previous gospel, the former gospel. Let's talk about the promises of a greater gospel. If the former gospel promised pardon, the greater gospel promises power. Okay, we're shifting. You say it with me. You say it with me. I can hear you and I can see you. But say it with me. I am shifting from pardon to power. I'm shifting from permission to purpose. Yeah, no, I don't need a God to forgive me. No, I need to watch this. I need to repair what I harmed, and I need to get up and do better. That's it. That's moving from pardon to power. I don't need to be pardoned. I need to be reminded that I have the power to do something. I need to be reminded that I have the power to change. I need to be reminded that I have the power to grow. No, I don't need to be pardoned. Pardon keeps me from being accountable. And when you're keeping me from being accountable, you're actually robbing me of my own power. And I can't have that no more. So one of the promises of a greater gospel is the promise of inherited worth. In the former gospel, worth was imputed. It was a gift given to you because someone else was perfect. You were worthy because of their blood. But the greater promise is you're worthy because you exist, period. You're worthy because you exist, period. You are valuable because you exist, period. That's the starting place. Okay. The promise is that you no longer have to perform, repent, or qualify for love. Baby, you don't perform for love, you perform to get where you want to go. Okay. You are released from the exhaustion of trying to be worthy enough for a distant God. But it doesn't stop there. We also get the promise of agency. The traditional gospel promises that a savior will fight your battles, that a savior has your back. The greater gospel reminds you that you are capable of fighting on your own. The problem, and I saw this firsthand as a pastor in the Black community, the problem of believing that someone else is always fighting your battles is that you never show up in the ring to fight your own battles. And if you don't show up in the ring to fight your own battles, you don't actually figure out just how much you can take. See, so I became a monster when I realized I could take more than I thought I could. Oh, y'all ain't ready for me. I wrote about it in my first book, Insignificant, Shameless Plug. No, I became a monster when I realized I could take more than I was treating myself like I could take. I told y'all there were plenty of times where anything would happen. I treated myself like, oh man, this is it. This is the end. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to make it. And that was happening to me because I was never getting in the rings and learning what I could do. I wasn't getting in the ring, no Diddy, and learning what I could do. Okay, yeah, so I done got in the ring and I done took some L's. I did. I done got in the ring and I done took some L's. I done got some black eyes. I done got knocked out. I done got TKO'd. I done got in some ring. I done got in the rings and I done seen some things. I've experienced some things, but I've also learned how to navigate. I've also learned how what I could take. I've also learned how to zig when I needed to. Y'all don't want to talk to me. I've also learned how to bob and weave. I've also learned how to rope a dope. It's the only way you learn what you are capable of doing is that you've got to be willing to get in the ring. And as long as you believe that somebody else is fighting your battles, you never learn how to fight on your own. And I'm here to talk to somebody who is tired of being taken advantage of. And baby, I'm gonna tell you, listen, you're gonna have to get in that ring and you're gonna have to bob and weave in a little bit. You got to bob, yep. Oh, they missed you. Oh, they got you this time. Next time, move. See, you don't. That old gospel made us so afraid of failure. The old paradigm, that former gospel made us so afraid of failure that we never learned how to live. Okay? Because you only learn what's next by losing. Okay? You learn, okay? Unless you got some good teachers. But if you get hit in the face enough times while boxing, eventually you learn. Even if nobody's there to tell you, I think I need to put my hands up a little bit more. No, see, that's what you're robbing yourself of because you're treating yourself like you're fragile. You're treating yourself like the next battle is going to take you out. But I came to tell you, you are bigger than you think you are. You are greater than anybody has ever reminded you of. That's why I'm here to be the cheerleader today. Save the cheerleader, save the world, because you need to be reminded of who you are. The cheerleader is not there to give you an excuse to get out of the battle. The cheerleader is there to remind you that you got this. Damn, this is good. Why is this so good? Jalapeno. The traditional gospel promises that a savior will fight your battles. The greater gospel promises that you are capable of fighting your own, that you are the authority of your own life. You are the author. You are the author and the finisher of your faith. You know, it promises the end of spiritual codependency. You aren't a blind man waiting for a touch. You're not somebody who's been crippled, who's waiting for a miracle. You are a conscious human with the tools, reason, empathy, and community to navigate your own evolution and whatever that's going to look like. All right. So now the promise of community without control. You know, I think that's what scared people about Bridge City for so long. It's like, man, if we're going to have a community, then y'all going to have to tell me what to do. And I'm like, no. We're evolving from that. We're evolving from hierarchy. You're going to have to tell yourself what to do. Man, no, because I don't know what works for you. This is the reason why I didn't immediately go into motivational speaking, which would have been an easy transition as a pastor. Just hit the motivational speaking racket. But I saw what they were doing, and I felt it was based in a lot of the same superstition that we were doing in religions. And it's like, nah, bruh. The goal isn't for me to have all your answers. No, that's the paradigm we're moving away from. You won't find your answers in one person. You might be able to find your answers in all of us because you get a better view. See, religion often uses the warning to keep people in line. The promise of the greater gospel is a collective that is held together by attraction, not fear. People come to Bridge City because they like Bridge City, not because the alternative is hell. Not because the alternative is you're going to be treated badly. Not because the alternative is judgment or condemnation. Or not even because there is a promise of an afterlife. People come to Bridge City because they are attracted, not because they are afraid. My goodness. The greater promise is that you can have the village without the vigilantism. It promises a space where you can belong without having to pretend. You don't have to edit your identity or your doubts to keep your seat at the table. It's also the promise of the many. The former gospel promised that if you followed the one, you'd be okay. The greater gospel promises that we are the ones we've been waiting for. This is what I like to call distributed responsibility. If we have any crisis of humanity right now, it's because we have a problem in the responsibility area, because we've been so disconnected from our agency, so disconnected from our authenticity, so disconnected from our own sense of autonomy that we have not been in a place of responsibility. We've not been in a place of contributing. We've been just kind of lost in the sauce. But what really changes the world is distributed responsibility. I used to wear the weight of the world on my back. I really did. I thought it was my responsibility to save everybody. I did. Even when I stopped being a pastor, even as a Black nationalist, I was ready to die for the movement because, hey, that's the price I got to pay. And then I finally realized that's just poor strategy. Oh, man, listen, it's poor strategy. Sharing is better than sacrifice. All right, yeah, this is good. No, we're gonna share the load. That's why I'm as vocal about the work that I do, because I'm looking for people to share the load. We're operating in distributed responsibility. It promises that logos or reason isn't concentrated in one historical figure or one pulpit. It is distributed among the many. This means the solution to your problem might be sitting in the chair next to you. And then there's the promise of the cosmic carpool. And for me, we love you because there's a you, okay? We love you because there's a you. This is radical boundaryless solidarity. Because there is no God to act as a middleman or a filter for your love, the promise is a direct, unfiltered connection to humanity. That's why Joe and I and Kyle Butler left the ministry but continue to do the work. Because when we lost God, we lost the filter. So that didn't make us less concerned. It made us more concerned. It made us more concerned. No. Now that God is not in the way, there are more people that I can love. No. Now that I don't believe in angels, demons, heaven, or hell, I can literally love everybody. And I don't just mean that from some shallow space. I literally mean I can literally love everybody because now I can apply reason to whatever's going on. I can imply critical things. I can no longer say, for me, now I know some of you might still do, but for me, I can no longer say, well, this just happening because these people are just plain evil. This is happening because these people are just plain wicked. The devil is just using them. No, I actually understand how societies shape minds. And so I know where the root of it is. And so that's why we do the work that we do. BridgeCity, instead of trying to put people's mind on a miracle, we're trying to be the medicine. Does that make sense? Okay. See, we're no longer looking for a reason to disqualify someone. The great news is that you finally have permission to love everyone. The good news was love your neighbor. The great news is love everybody. We're going to have one talk in this series called Love the World. Y'all ain't ready for that. The greater gospel promises that nobody has to die for you to be loved. It removes the blood requirement from the human experience and replaces it with the breath requirement. If you're breathing, you're in. And so our last point of today, and then we're going to get out of here, is what are the provisions of our greater gospel? The former gospel provided the truth in a locked box, okay? Guarded by gatekeepers. The greater gospel provides the key to that box. We provide ourselves with permission to use our reason, our skepticism, and intuition without the threat of spiritual rebellion. For tomorrow's generation, we provide a legacy of epistemic literacy. Our children won't be raised to fear wrong ideas. They'll be raised with the critical thinking skills to evaluate all ideas. We give them a mind that is an open workshop rather than a closed cathedral. In the former gospel, provision was something you prayed for. God, who is our provider, Jehovah Jireh, In the greater gospel, we are the providers. We provide communities like BridgeCity, actual Sunday sessions where the provision is empathy, networking, and mutual aid. It's the cosmic carpool in action, making sure everyone in the car has what they need for the ride. We provide the blueprint for how to have ritual, belonging, and support systems that don't require a subscription to a deity. We ensure that they have a tribe that doesn't require a purity test to join. The former gospel kept people in a loop of sin, repentance, repeat. This provides a stagnant emotional life. The greater gospel provides growth. We provide the greater news that we are capable of fighting our own battles. This provides us with self-efficacy. We stop waiting for a miracle and we start working on the medicine. For tomorrow's generations, we provide an inheritance of wholeness. By doing the work of saving ourselves for the world, we stop passing down the virus of religious trauma, original sin, and shame. And we provide them with instead a clean slate of inherent worth. You are here, and we love you. The former gospel provided us versus them. The greater gospel reorients us in the all. And that even goes beyond our humanity. The all, everything that is here is necessary. We provide ourselves with the greater gospel permission to love beyond boundaries. This decreases harm by removing the disqualification filters, labels, creeds, and languages. We provide a unified human identity. We move the species from tribal survival to collective flourishing. We provide a world where I love you because there's a you is a standard operating procedure for diplomacy, ecology, and economy. The greatest thing we provide for the generations to come is the end of the search. They won't have to spend their lives asking, is there a God who loves me? Because they will live in a world where it is already a fact that humanity loves them. And perhaps that is one of the biggest cries for the greater gospel, is because maybe we felt for so long that we needed a God to love us because we weren't doing a good job of loving each other. Let's be real with that. Maybe for so many, they need the void that people call that God-sized void was not actually a God void, but it's a void of where people they didn't. People who I thought were assigned to love me left me. You know, if we want to see a world where people aren't driven by cultic relationships with superstitious deities, then we have to do a better job of loving the people that are here. Somebody once asked me, what did I think about suicide and suicide prevention? And asked me what strategies I think that we needed to take in that arena. And my answer was fairly clear. I think the only effective strategy towards suicide prevention is life improvement. You know, if we look at how many people want to leave the party, then we got to realize that something's wrong with the way we're doing the party. So whether you're watching this in your living room, or you're on your lunch break, or maybe you've been listening in your car, I want you to hear me clearly. We've spent enough time talking about what's wrong with the world. I want to spend some time talking about what's right with you. Traditional religion taught us to love people because of where they were going. It was a gospel of the warning. It told you that you were crooked, that you were untoward, that you were broken, that you were shame, and that you were in shame and that you needed to escape. But today we're changing the frequency. At BridgeCity, we don't love you because of where you're going. We love you because you are here, okay? I don't need a deity to tell me that you're valuable. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your struggle. I can see it in your resilience. The good news is that somebody died for you. The great news is that you are alive for us. We are all in this cosmic carpool together. Like, look at the chat right now. Look at the names scrolling by. There's no higher seat in this car. There is no exclusive lane for the chosen ones. There is just us. The great news, the greater gospel, is that nobody has to die for you to be worthy of your seat. I don't need a God to be loving toward you, and you don't need a God to be loved by me. Your humanity is your invitation. Your breath is your credential. And if you've been looking for a reason to belong, let this be the only one you'll ever need, that you are here. Why should I belong? Because I'm here. Why should they treat me with dignity? Because I'm here. Why should I be respected and valued? Because I'm here. Why should I do the same for others? Because they're here. And if you're here, you're loved, period. If you're ready to stop looking for a reason to disqualify people from humanity, if you're ready to build a family without fighting and a community without control, then this is your moment of decision. Now, we don't have altars for you to lay your life down at, but we do have bridges to connect you to others who are also rebuilding. I want you to type, I am here, in the comments, not as a prayer to a God, but as a declaration of our shared humanity. You're claiming your seat at the table of community. You're saying, I am worthy, I am present, I am enough, and I am able to connect and make a difference. The great news is that you are here and that you're not alone. The greater gospel is you're not worthy because you follow the right rules or vote the right way or did the right things. The greater gospel is a recognition that perfection is an illusion and that we are not fallen sinners, but we are rising humanity. We are figuring it out one epoch at a time. And yes, it has taken us a while to get this far, but the great news is that here is not the end of our journey. Here is not where it falls apart. Here is where we make our stand. Here is where we determine and choose and purpose ourselves to rise together. Here is where we realize that it's been our voice all along, our hands doing the work and our minds moving us forward. And if we've got us this far, in spite of our superstitions that breed dehumanization, just imagine what happens as we globally shed limitation of yesterday's misunderstandings and embrace a greater gospel that celebrates the diversity of our human experience. Thank you for being with us this weekend. If you're making the decision to join this community, make sure to click the link on the screen to join the global campus. One of the things we're working on as we're building a team of volunteers is eventually, as you join, every single person that joins, eventually they're going to be somebody on the other side waiting to greet you, waiting to guide you through the campus to help you feel virtually at home. But until then, make sure as you get in that you jump in and you introduce yourself. Again, thank you all so much for being here today. Before you leave, check out these next steps coming from one of our global members from across the globe, Anna. And let's see if y'all enjoy this, because I do.
What an incredible session. We are just scratching the surface of what it means to live out the greater gospel. I want to hear from you. What was your light bulb moment today? Drop it in the comments right now or head over to the comments on the global campus to keep the conversation going. Speaking of moving the conversation forward, if you're making the decision to officially join BridgeCity today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We don't believe in gatekeeping community. If you found freedom here, you belong here. Your first step is to follow the link on the screen. That is your portal to the global campus where you can transition from a spectator to a builder. We've made your pathway easy with brief learning tracks that break down our mission and our model. By the time you finish your next steps, you won't just know about us, you'll know exactly how to plug in and make an impact. Joining gives you access to member-only content, specialized circles, and courses designed to help you live better. If you're ready to bridge the gap between where you are and where you're going, click that link. We can't wait to see you inside. For the rest of our family, if you value these weekly sessions and believe that a more inclusive, empowering gospel is worth spreading, let's create an opportunity for generosity. Your giving is the fuel for this mission. It makes this space accessible, sustainable, and most importantly, scalable. When you give, you aren't just paying the bills, you are empowering our bridges to reach further and support more people who are navigating their own deconstruction. Think about it, with relatively little, we've already impacted hundreds of lives through these sessions in our virtual campus. Imagine what we can establish and promote with your consistent, intentional support. Whether it's weekly or monthly, your gift allows us to train new leaders and power new projects that move people forward. The link and the QR code are on the screen. Thank you for making a statement of support today. You are the reason this vision has legs. And finally, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. If you know someone who feels stuck in a religious construct that no longer fits, show them that there is life after uncertainty. Share this replay, invite them to a watch party, and let's show the world that the greater gospel is exactly what we've been waiting for. Let's reach the world together. Thank you for joining us this weekend for the Greater Gospel series. To our visitors, I hope this conversation gave you something to carry with you this week. Remember, the first time you're a visitor, the second time you're a guest, but by that third visit, you're as good as family. We can't wait to see you back here next weekend as we continue to explore what an inclusive, empowering gospel actually looks like. To our members, don't let the conversation end here. Make sure to stay updated on all our upcoming events and activities by checking the comments, diving into your clubs, and keeping an eye on the global campus calendar. There is so much happening behind the scenes to help you build better and live better. That's all for today, BridgeCity. As you head out into your week, remember, you are no longer bound by the old constructs. You are free to be forward-thinking, people-centric, and life-affirming in every space you occupy. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
don't sit around. Please don't settle now. We can do better now. We can get up. Please don't sit around. Please don't settle now. We can do better now. Yeah. Get up. Please don't sit around. Please don't settle now. We can do better now. Get up, baby. Please don't sit around. Sit around. Please don't settle now. Oh, we can do better now. Get up, get up. Please don't sit around. Please don't settle now. Whoa, we can do better now. Get up, get up. Please don't sit around. Get up, settle now. Get up. Please don't sit around. Get up. Please don't sit around. Please don't settle now. Get up. Get up. Oh. Get up. Oh. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Please don't sit around.